Hey everybody, I saw a nice video on how to fake playing well, or how to fake playing a piano when you have no skills. Now, I do have a degree in music, but I have never ever been able to play a piano. Just never took the time and never really did. I didn't even do piano one in college, so I had a degree that didn't require it. I'm actually okay with that. So I saw a video online where a guy was making a nice little, song, and he was telling me how to fake playing the piano. And his first rule was to just play a single note while you're talking. And that's pretty much what we're doing here. Just playing a single note, telling a story. This one isn't a sexy story like he was telling, but it was a good story, so just setting the mood here. His next lesson rather, was to take your hand and place it on your head. See if I can do this here. Place it on your head so that your fingers here, would actually come out to be about an octave. Like I say, I have a degree, just doesn't matter. And then you bang it. Just bang and bang. And then you play an octave on random notes. And you just play an octave. Just to accentuate your words. All the while still playing the single note. So I heard this and I thought, it's actually a pretty good idea, because theoretically you have your chord, your bass rather, you've got your open octaves, which sound just plain and mediocre, but you're using your single as your color tone, which works out pretty well. So you just keep playing the note and bang a key. Just play it, and it's very simple. Sounds all well and good. And that's cool, and I like it. Actually sounds not great, but it will work. But I thought I would just use a program called Reason. It's actually number 5. I would create a piano and actually make a whole song using this technique of just playing a single note, playing random. I don't even know which notes I'm hitting. I can tell which notes are on the piano, but not well enough to actually play. And as you see, I'm actually doing this with one hand, because my camera is being held with my other hand. And I even have a short keyboard, so I have to go up an octave, or 3 octaves, to get to a normal range. So if I were to touch it in this range, it would be fun. And all's well and good. Now, the next part of this is just to tickle the ivories. Just tickle the ivories. While you hit your notes, just your right hand just does your melody, and it does it randomly. Very simply. And that's it. So we're going to take this and expand it out to the 100th degree using absolutely no premeditated theory knowledge, just playing off this tickling and octave approach. Same thing, over and over. So we're going to switch over to Reason now and get started from there. All while we're talking. And we'll walk you through it, whole process. And we're going to end up with a song that you probably would use as background for almost anything. Especially a depressing note, just a depressing song. But here we go. Ready? Alright, so as you can see, we're in Reason. And in this case, I'm just going to start all over. We're going to go new. Do I want to save changes? No. So we're just going to go from here. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and create my piano. So create all instruments. So all instruments. And piano. Concert Grand is my favorite. And as you can see, playing is not my strong suit. Just isn't. But hey, that's the sound we're going for. We're going with that. Now, one important thing on here, to do the all-important one note, one octave, is that you have to keep the sustain on. So just turn the sustain pedal on. And as you can see, I can still miss. So. And this isn't a full-size keyboard, so I am unintentionally hitting the wrong keys. Normally I can at least keep it on one key, but today not so much. Alright? And what I like to do in Reason is just detach so I can see my whole thing. And we're going to do a couple things here. So this combinator, this is actually our piano. Let's see. We'll just leave it. Just remember, this is our piano. And we're going to add some lanes. And each lane is going to be a separate piece of this song. So to start off with, gotta set my tempo. And I want this one to be slow, so we're going to go down to about 80. I like to do pre, so it counts me in. I like clicks, and I like quantitative record, so that when I do this, it will line up with the notes. So yeah, what we're going to do here is just line up, and we're going to hit record, and I'm just going to play one single note and keep talking. 2, 3, 4. 1. See how easy this is? And actually I might slow this down a bit when we get to it, but there's a good reason for that. And that ticking is just the piece clicking off. I'm going to do 8 measures because that just sounds right. And that's it. And stop. I'm just going to go in here, double check, make sure that I can play. Clean it up a bit if I need to. Everything lines up prettily. And once we get this down, we can just duplicate this line for infinity. If you'll notice, different varying levels, and yeah. See, and I missed that one, so I gotta just slide it over. There we go. We'll go back to here. Yeah, so just missed one, but it lines up. And there we go. That's our talking line. And we're going to do that for just a bit, so Control C, V. Just copy it out a few hundred times, doesn't matter. That's going to be the basis of our whole song. Now, what we're going to do is a little bit more complicated, but not much more. Going to copy one down to here, and this is going to be our bass line. Or not our bass line, but our chord line. So where it was simply quarter notes, these are going to be the chords so we can add to it. So I think I picked the A. Yeah, so I picked A. And as such, I'm going to go down a couple of octaves on my piano. I have to kind of rotate down here. So yeah, that's down. That sounds good. That sounds good enough. We're just going to pick there, wherever that is. We're going to get our fingers exactly 1 octave apart. And no matter who you are, you can tell the difference if you're not an octave. An octave is the same. And say if you're off, sounds horrible. So the whole method of the forehead is just to get 1 octave. And from here, I'm literally going to just randomly play them. I'm actually going to snap to a half so that if no matter what I do, it's going to come up on either the half or the whole note, or whole. And the reason for that is these are slow and will take up a full measure or half a measure depending on how you do it. So I'm not pre-picking anything. I am just keeping my fingers exactly an octave apart. And we're going to do 8 of these. And I don't know what I'm going to end up with, but it's going to be 8. And that's how it's going to work. Snap, why are we snapping to a bar? Oh, yeah, snap to a half. There we go. Alright. And so I still have my clicks, which I can turn off my clicks because I have my piano. And I'm going to start off with the original. Do I want to go down? See there, my fingers were off. Sounds horrible, but when it's 1 octave, that's easy. And we're just going to bounce it along. So here we go. And I'm just playing along. I'm not even holding them down long enough to be a nuisance. I'm just playing along. I'm going to extend these out because it's a little bit easier when you can see the whole thing. And that's it. 8 measures would, let's count out 8 here. Go through 17. So I'm actually missing a couple. That's no big deal, honestly. I'm just going to delete out. This is what I love about Reason. I'm going to make these long. Going to make these long. Long. That's odd. That's odd. Huh. Alright, well, my idea of matching up didn't work. Shrink it down. Sometimes this is easier to not play it and just to move it like you should. And like I say, these are all random, perfectly random notes. I didn't really plan it out. I'm pretty sure I'm breaking a couple of theory rules here, and that's okay. It's past the 20th century, so I can do what I want. And I like that. So we're just mapping these all the way out. I'm going to add some at the end because, hey, why not? Like that, we're going to just copy that up there. I don't think that's supposed to go together like that, but whatever. Like I say, these are randomly chosen. And as you can see, I'm literally just dragging on. But one of the important things I am doing is keeping it on the white notes. With the reason for that being, I have no idea why. It just said stay on the white notes. That's pretty much what it is. So we're gonna go a little higher with that one. And I'm literally just moving them up and down with no rhyme or reason other than that's what I want at the time that I was playing. And with the sustain pedal on, whoops, don't do that. With the sustain pedal on, this will bleed into each other and will work out pretty well. And all I'm doing here is just lining everything up. Yeah, just lining it all up. And this is going to be my chord progression, although it's not chords and it's not really a progression I know of. In this case, it's just kind of ugliness, but hey, that's alright. That's going to be 3. And then we're going to come back on 1. So, to hear it now, we're going back to song, and we have our single notes going. Let's just do 1. And while we have our single notes going, we're just adding in a couple of chords. And that's it. And some of these volumes are way too low, but that's okay. We're going to just increase the volume a bit. Let's just go up a bit, and that's just so you can hear it. And if you notice, they're all octaves, so make sure they all sound good. They don't sound good with the top note because I'm jumping all around randomly, but that's okay. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. And I did too many, so I actually have 12 bars. So 12 bars works. Who cares, right? For this, who cares? Literally, who cares? We're just going to play the same ones over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you'll see why this will actually turn out to be okay. And there we go. So we have exactly 5.5 minute song from literally not knowing anything. Just playing along and talking over music, and there we go. Now the third part and the integral part of this is, quite literally, the third part is to just tickle the ivories. So we're going to go up a couple of octaves on the piano. I have no idea if that even sounds good, but that's alright. It's kind of mellow. It's the background music to any car commercial you've probably ever heard in your life. That's okay. I think this is how they make it. I don't know. I'd probably change a few of these if I were really doing this, but I'm not. I'm going to keep at it. Now, after a bit, we're going to come in, and all we're going to do is just start to play. We're on lane 2, and there's a reason why I have so many lanes here, but we're on lane 2. And we're on lane 2. I've gone up a bit. Still no thought, but I'm starting on that same note. And I'm just going to hit record and start playing. And quite honestly, I have no idea what to play other than I'm probably going to be one fingering it or a couple of them. And that's okay. And it's just going to be a mix of fast and slow. And here we go. As you can see, I have no technique at all. And I'm not even thinking about it. And I'm definitely not overthinking anything at all. I'm just kind of tickling through. And you're going to like where this ends up eventually. And we're going to go down an octave. Now, I can actually play this with one hand if I were good enough, except for the repeating single note, and that's okay. We're going to go up. I just don't have the dexterity in my fingers to do this. But you can definitely tell I have very little training in a piano. And I'm going to stop here, actually. Starts over there anyway, so I'm stopping here. And this is what I played. And it looks like a random assortment. When I say it looks like a random assortment, it is a random assortment. And that's alright. That's what we ended up with. I'm shortening it because I only needed a few measures. And I could shorten it some more if I really wanted. Now, the beauty of this. We're just going to play it. And you can see, doesn't sound horrible, it's just kind of haunting. Oof. Yeah, so say I messed that up in that there are two of them, but we can delete it out. No problem. And we're just looking through, just playing along. That's actually very haunting, and I'm good with it. I don't care about much else, but only thing I'm looking for in here is where I had two notes that they ran together. I'm just taking one of them out. That's all I'm really looking for in here. So it doesn't even matter which one to me that I'm taking out, or three in that case. Yeah, I'm just not wanting these, because side-by-side notes like that don't sound too good unless that's what you're going for. And in this case, I'm not, because I don't want that much to go wrong. This actually looks good. So here's our melody. Believe it or not, that's it. And the good part about that, and why I did all of these lanes, is pretty simple. We're going to rearrange a little bit here, just to reorganize. And yeah, I'm going to push that up, and we're going to push that up, and this down. So we're just reorganizing here. And it's all just drag and drop, click and move, click and move. And yeah, so there we go. Now the beauty of this, and what I like, is all you have to do is move it up. So now you have a round, and another round, and another round. So now what you just made is going to be insanely complicated. Without hearing it, I can tell you this will sound like most commercials you've heard. So we start off kind of a haunting thing, and then we get a couple, and then we get a couple more, and then we get more, and then more. So you have just a wall of sound that's very complicated. But that works. Now, from here, we're just going to create a new instrument. And we're going to go to orchestral. And I want rich full strings. And if you notice, these strings has kind of an echo. And that's exactly what I want. So now I just have rich full strings, got nothing else going on, and that's all we've done. And we're going to add a few lanes because I don't know what I want to put in here, but I'm just going to copy some of this down. and go into here. I think this is, I think this is all I want in here. So you can hear it. Whole sound totally changed just from that. And it's a little overbearing on the strings, so we're going to drop that a bit. Now, may or may not. Now we're going to drop this down. If you notice, I've only played a few things. And actually, because of this, I'm only going to drop these down. Just make sure it lines up right. And this one. Oh. And there we go. And I'm going to duplicate it. And I like that. I like that a lot. We're just going to run this all the way out to the end. Now, for the last piece, and if you notice, I have done absolutely nothing, but I have a nice little piece that has some drama, but I've done nothing that requires any type of brain power. So, in here, we're going to do drum kits, and I am a fan of this very simple Slam Flaming Lips kit. Flaming Lips kit, and we're just going to do that. Now I don't know if my piano works or not. Alright, so what I'm wanting here is some metal, and I'm actually just going to copy this down here and find out where the metal is. There we go. And see, I haven't done anything, but I'm going to make that a little bit silent. See? Totally changed just by adding that. And that's good. I want that. And I'm going to add more lanes again, because we're just going to build this into something. And I know most of you are probably going to tell me how many ways I am wrong for doing it this way. And I'm okay with that, because there really isn't a right or, well, there is a right and wrong way, and this is definitely not the right way, but that's alright. So we're adding here, and what I'm wanting, these are all quarter notes, and we're going to try to find, since they're quarter notes, we're going to extend out. It's just easier to, it's quarter notes. So we're going to take every half. It's just easier to redo it. Shoot. Q. Going to find our bass drum. And we're going to add in, oh boy. We're going to add bass drums on 1 and 3. And that's all. I can't even find 3. So bass drums on 1 and 3. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Quite frankly, we only have to do this for 4 measures. So 1, 2, 3, that's 4 measures. So that's good, yeah. We're only going to do this for 4 measures because I don't want to do it for that much. Bass drum, 4 measures, all right? When we go back to here, we have bass drum, 4 measures. And do you hear? Totally changed. Now, what we're going to do is copy that a bunch, because we always want bass drums on 1 and 3, at least for this piece, till the end. We're now going to raise that up, and we're adding in snare. So snare drum, just, which snare? Let's go with that one, on 2 and 4. So 2 and 4. So now we have bass and snare, 2 and 4. Simple. And actually, when we add the snare, we're going to double up our cymbals. Hi-hat, ride, whatever you want to call this thing. We're just going to double it. We've added nothing except for a very rudimentary line here. So we're just going to go Control C. We're going to add that. Oh, yep. Nope, we did want that. And we're going to take away all of these that we added. This is our doubled one. And we're going to just duplicate it from here. And that's all. So that see? Very simple, still starting with the same thing. I have done absolutely nothing requiring music at all. And it's just sounding okay. Alright, and so that's the simple part there. Since we have the lines up here, let's go ahead and do something else to add some color for our nice little percussion area. And we're going to do this every 8 measures, but I have no idea what we're going to do. Let's see, we have here, we can always, oh, I know what we'll do. We'll do that. This is metal, a little bit more metal. And we really don't need this much metal, just so you know. So we're going to cut out all except that last measure. So yep, and that's it. Oops. And that's it. That's all we're doing. And then we're going to copy that out every 8 measures here. Heck. And that's just to add a tiny bit of color. We're stopping it early because the song will end kind of depressingly as it began. And yeah. And that's it. And there we go. Now, if you want to, you can actually add a new instrument and just keep copying and pasting if you want. Where's my instrument? Oh, create. New instrument. And want to add bass, electric bass. If you want to slap, how about finger bass? There we go. I kind of like that. Let's do a finger bass. And since it is a finger bass, we're just going to drop our bass chords down here. Just make sure they line up. And there we go. And that's it. And if you really wanted to, you can add, take away all of these. That's all you got going there. And there you go. And now for the next time you want to override something, you can just do this. And you come out. It gets quieter and quieter. And I don't like that, so I'm glad to listen to the end. We're just going to go back to slow. And we can actually take out the snare too, because nobody needs a snare. And there we go. And that is the easiest way I've ever seen to make background music for a video. And there we are. End of it. And the good part about this, so this is 6 minutes of a song, and I don't need 6 minutes, so we're going to speed this up a lot. Cut it in half. 3 minutes. And you get a totally different song. Here we go. And there we are. Okay, I don't like that at all. So we're going to actually slow it down, because that was awful. And then we're just going to cut out a lot of the middle. And you don't need that much of an exit, so let's just do this. And there we have it. One full song, exported, and done. And it's a nice still 6 minutes. Jeez. So repeat. And there we go. And now we're just going to export song as audio file. Yeah, let's go there. Document 2 works. Save. 48. And OK. And there you have it. It's going to be playing at the end if you wanted to skip right to it. 37 minutes on how to create a song from absolutely nothing as your backgrounds for pretty much anything you ever want to talk over. Alright? Just gonna play it out and hope y'all have a wonderful day. And you can watch my spider here. I've got some spiders on the back porch, or just off the back porch, and just like this song, they weave some very complicated webs. So if you're spider arachnophobic, I wouldn't watch this part. But if you're not arachnophobic, just watch. He's just cute, or she's cute. And I hope y'all have a good one.